3. Approval of the agenda recommendation that that regular council meeting agenda for October 11th, 2023 be adopted as circulated. Councillor McCabe, Councillor Beach, all in favor? Thank you. Adoption of the minutes, recommendation that minutes of the regular council meeting held on September the 13th, 2023 be adopted. Councillor Beach, Councillor Bailey, all in favor? Carried. Recommendation that the minutes of the special council meeting held on September 15th, 2023 be adopted. Councillor Beach, Councillor Evans, all in favor? Carried. Recommendation that the minutes of the special council meeting held on September 27th, 2023 be adopted. Councillor McCabe, Councillor Evans, all in favor? Okay, we kind of missed that. Okay, we've already been there. Okay, bylaw amendment. Moving right along. Zoning amendment bylaw 1049/2023 710 Con Street amended second reading. Recommendation that the District of Sycamore zoning amendment bylaw number 1049/2023 be given second reading as amended this 11th day of October 2023. Can I get a mover? Councillor McCabe, Councillor Beach, and Nicole, you can take it away.
Yeah, I have a PowerPoint.
Where is it?
I just will bring up ones. It's under the committee or the regular council meeting folder.
Is Gord still online?
Yeah, that's fine.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and so I'll just start. Pull that up. So I only have one slide for this second reading. So we're doing a second reading as amended today for 10/49/2023 because the owners who are here today have conducted the survey of the proposed subdivision lot. And it's been discovered that it will be 302 square meters instead of 325 as we originally estimated. And that's why we're going back to reading. We didn't know the final lot size until this survey was done. This lot size will still accommodate a home, and it will keep the minimum setback for the existing dwelling on the west side there at 1.5 and any new dwellings at 1.5.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions, concerns? Call the question, all in favor? And it's carried. That was easy. Easy button. Okay, so now we're going to go into a public hearing. At this public hearing, council will consider an application for a zoning bylaw amendment for property located at 710 Con Street. The bylaw amendment would add a regulation to the R1 zone for this property by amending section 4.4.2.11C by adding a site-specific regulation as follows. For the eastern portion of Lot 9, District 497, Kamloops Division, Yale District, Plan 25602, shown below, the minimum parcel size shall be 302 meters. The public are invited to make presentations to council, and all persons who believe their interest in this property is affected by the proposed amendment bylaws shall be given reasonable opportunity to be heard or to present written submissions respecting matters contained in the proposed amendment bylaws. Please direct all of your comments through the chair. Members of council may, if they wish, ask questions of you following the presentation. However, the main function of council is to listen to the views of the public. It is not the function of council at this hearing to debate the merits of the proposal with individual citizens. Please observe these rules, and if you have any concerns with the way the hearing is conducted, direct your comments to the chairperson. Everyone shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard at this hearing. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making their views known. If you'd like to make a presentation, raise your hand. If you're attending through Zoom to speak during this meeting, click the hand icon to raise your hand electronically, and you will be in queue to speak. Your final opportunity to comment on the proposed amendment bylaws will be during the hearing, as members of council are not permitted to receive further submissions after the close of the hearing. Again, please direct all your comments to the chair by raising your hand electronically, raising your hand to speak. The zoning bylaw amendment will be introduced by staff, presenting a brief synopsis of the proposal. Following the introduction, I will open the floor to presentation by the public. Nicole, do you want to take it away? Thank you.
Okay, so this is the proposal. It's at 710 Con Street.
Nicole, can I get you to speak up a bit or to use your mic?
Use that every day.
Yeah, it's okay.
Better?
Yes.
Getting close. Okay, so there's the property at 710 Con Street. It's a few doors down from the fire hall. Just another overview map of the property. On the left-hand side, the OCP designation is low-density residential, and on the right-hand side, we have R1, 1 and 2 unit residential. Okay, so this is the site-specific regulation. So it will remain the same zoning, but the purpose is to reduce the minimum parcel size from 450 meters squared to 302 meters squared. That will be for the eastern parcel there in Crosshatch. It's to support a subdivision to create a new parcel and hopefully a home. Couple photos of what's existing on the lot. There is a home to the west side of the lot, and then the empty area will be the new lot. Okay, so the proposal will maintain or retain the minimum 1.5 meter setback for the existing dwelling, and any new dwellings that go on will also be able to maintain that 1.5 meter setback. It supports a roughly 131 square meter building envelope at the 40% coverage. There are similar parcels that support 1,800 to 2,500 square feet dwellings, so this should be a good fit. The minimum front setback accommodates the required parking stall depth, and the parcel width accommodates the minimum of 2 parking stalls at 2.8 meters. We've done some internal and external consultation at this point. Across the board, no objection. And these are a few examples of some houses that could fit on that lot.
Okay, thank you. So do we have anyone that's wants to present or speak to this in this public hearing? Anyone online? Okay, I'll call the question the second time. Does anyone want to speak to this public hearing? Okay, calling third and final time. Does anyone want to speak to this public hearing? Okay, public hearing is closed. Okay, bylaws and policies. Zoning amendment bylaw number 1049, 2023, 710 Con Street, third reading. Recommendation that the District of Sycamore zoning bylaw amendment bylaw number 1049, 2023 to reduce the minimum parcel size from 420 meters squared to 302 meters squared for the eastern portion of the property legally described as Lot 9, District Lot 497, Kamloops Division, Yale District, Plan 25602, be given third reading this 11th day of October 2023. I get a mover, Councillor Bailey, Councillor Beach. And that the District of Sycamore, actually, I'm gonna maybe do, should I break those up into 2, Kelly?
Sure, go for it.
All right. Any discussion on the first portion, on the first recommendation? All those in favor? Carried. And that the District of Sycamore zoning amendment bylaw number 2049/2023 be referred to the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure to request a statutory approval. Can I get a mover? Counselor Bailey, Counselor McCabe. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you. All right, moving along. District of Sycamore's Parks Regulation Amendment Bylaw number 2053/2023 adoption. Recommendation that the District of Sycamore's Parks Regulation Amendment Bylaw number 2053/2023 be adopted this 11th day of October 2023. Counselor Bailey, Counselor Evans, discussion? Daryl, are you taking this one away? Just a brief view.
Yeah, through the chair, sorry, I zoned out.
I do it all the time.
So can you repeat that?
Walking.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, just the order.
Already.
Yeah.
Yeah, you betcha. Through the chair.
Dog.
Yes, this is, it's for council to amend the bylaw for the parks regulation. Back in 2022, council had adopted to change the name of Tecumseh Beach to Flockies Beach. And then we had discussions in August of this year at the council meeting, and staff was directed to get some signage posted for Flockies Beach to identify it as an off-leash area. So adopting this amendment would align those two facets with council's will.
Okay, thank you, Daryl.
Sorry for zoning.
Council, do you have any comments or questions? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? Carried. Permissive tax exemption bylaws for second and third reading. Bianca, I'm going to let you go first and then I'll read the recommendations.
So this was brought to the committee of the whole for discussion. So it's permissive tax exemption. So it's giving nonprofits, churches, a permissive tax exemption, or they pay zero property taxes in return. They offer, services to the community. So it's for a 4-year term. One reason why it wasn't brought to the last council meeting is we were kind of just waiting on some legal for the subdivision of the Eagle Valley Senior Citizens Housing Society. So it's there, 3 separate bylaws, one for places of worship, one for not-for-profit, and then one for seniors' homes. And pretty much the exact same list as last time this bylaw was passed 4 years ago. Only real changes with our housing going on Main Street, some legal added there. But with that, all of those pieces of property were either owned by Eagle Valley or the district, so really no tax change coming from this. And yeah, so just learned today we missed an advertising deadline, so final reading, we're actually gonna have to do a special meeting. And that'll be on November 27th, or October 27th. So yeah, those are the 3 bylaws.
Okay, thank you. Council, do you have any questions before I read the recommendations? Sir Evans?
Okay, thank you. I think I'm gonna have to recuse me from the places of worship vote when it happens.
Okay, anyone else?
Do I have to recuse myself from a not-for-profit when it happens?
If I recuse myself.
No. Bob has permission, the rest of you sit here. Recommendation, the District of Sycamore's tax exemptive bylaw number 1050/2023, places of worship. Be given first, second, third reading this 11th day of October 2023. Could I get a mover? Counselor McCabe, Counselor Beach. Bob, did you want to leave or do you want?
Yeah, we're good.
Any discussion?
Yeah, well, since Bob leaves the room, can I say something about Bob? I'm just joking. No. I support it.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, carried.
Barely have a forum.
Recommendation, the district, Bob,
Back, Bob.
Oh,
kind of fun you guys are missing by not being at council meetings on basis. It's this fun all the time. Recommendation, the District of Sycamore's tax exemption bylaw number 1051/2023, not-for-profit, be given first, second, third reading this 11th day of October 2023. Counselor Evans, Counselor Bailey, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Recommendation that the District of Sycamore's tax exemption bylaw number 1052/2023, seniors homes, be giving first, second, and third reading this 11th day of October 2023. Counselor Bailey, Counselor Beach, any discussion?
Are we capturing? I think we are, but just for the sake of me, the galley describe the properties we're catching through the chair.
Sure. Bianca, do you want to?
Yeah, so. We started a map to this bylaw, just because the legal's kind of a little bit confusing and isn't registered yet, just to show, so. The new lot D is included, and then C and E were previously one, and now they're broken up after the subdivision goes through. So just for clarity, this has been included as a schedule to the bylaw.
Right, so lot D again is the 36 units for senior.
Yes, yeah.
Just sort of galley, you know.
Any other comments? All in favor? Carried. Okay, delegations. We have the Community Banner Project. Bernie, Kim, Tammy. You guys are up. Thanks for being here.
Well, good afternoon, Madam Mayor, Council, staff, and members of the galley. I'll introduce myself to the people that don't know me. I'm Kim Hyde, resident of Sycamore over 40 years, and the president of the Eagle Valley Arts Council for coming up 12 years. And this is my last year, and the vice president, Tammy Brown, is going to be taking over my spot, so I'm going to let her carry on with our presentation.
Thank you, Kim.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I do recognize some of you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tammy Brown. I'm the vice president of the Eagle Valley Arts Council. We have a little round.
We remember you, Tammy. We remember you.
Some of these guys don't. I just want to take the brief moment to say hello to the Mayor and Council. On behalf of the Eagle Valley Arts Council and Sycamore Community Banner Project, thank you for allowing us to stand in front of you to introduce ourselves and why we're here today. The Community Banner Arts Project has been 25+ years and stands as a testament to the enduring spirit and creativity of the community across generations. Its significance lies not only in the beauty of the artworks and the stories, emotions, and spirit experiences designed and painted into each piece. For more than 2 decades, this project has not only reflected the evolving identity of our community, but also served as a catalyst for social cohesion, dialogue, and understanding. Providing a permanent home to these remarkable displays ensures that its rich tapestry of local culture and creativity is preserved for future generations. It becomes a living museum, a sanctuary, where the collective memory and artistic endeavors of the community are celebrated and appreciated. A permanent place to display space offers a sense of continuity, stability, and belonging, affirming the importance of the community's artistic expression and its intrinsic value to the cultural heritage of the region. Such a home not only honors the past and present contributors, but also inspires future generations, fostering a sense of pride and identity in the community's artistic future. Also, within this project's sustainability approach to the Community Banner Project, the project implemented a creative solution years ago for unsold banners. Instead of going to waste, these banners are skillfully upcycled into stylish beach bags. Through this innovative initiative, this project not only reduces weight, but also contributes to environmental conservation by repurposing all the materials. This transformation not only adds functionality to the banners, but also promotes eco-consciousness within our community by turning surplus banners into fashionable and lively events. We celebrate art, sustainability, and community engagement in a harmonious blend. We are here before you to request your assistance regarding 3 key deliverables, as this past year's project was met with many changes that were uncommunicated and took the project a little by surprise. A permanent location where our artistic creation can thrive and inspire generations. The dedicated space would not only serve as a focal point for our initiative every year, but also ensure its visibility to a wider audience. The ideal option for maximum visibility would be main streets and the beach park. A dedicated single point of contact, the district for streamlining our communication and ensuring efficient coordination, ensuring that information flows smoothly and any issues are promptly addressed. Thirdly, an agreed upon set number of vibrant banners, enhancing visual appeal and creating a sense of unity within our community. These essentials will catalyze our product success, fostering creativity, connection, and community spirit for years to come, with the potential to incorporate 2 sets of painted banners, spring, summer, and fall, winter. These vibrant banners, meticulously designed to capture the essence of each season, would not only add artistic charm to our project, but also serve as a source of inspiration for anyone who experiences them. To summarize our presentation and key deliverables, we'd like to establish a permanent home. Do we need a survey? Do we need to ask our community? I don't know. Those are just questions that we could ask going forward to help us to come to the final result. Specifying a set number of vendors and designating a single point of contact with the new district. These objectives ensure a stable foundation with clear artistic goals, efficient coordination, and a collaborative approach to fostering the project's long-term success and evolution with the community. Eagle Valley Arts Council proposes we could purchase the necessary hardware and brackets required to hang any banners once permanent space is designed and an inventory collected of what would be required. Eliminating the final bench burden on the district, and by taking on this expense, we can streamline the process and ensure timely completion of the project without imposing any additional costs on the taxpayer's end. We believe that this collaborative effort would not only enhance the overall efficiency of the project, but also foster a partnership between our organizations. Your support in facilitating the implementation of these action items would be invaluable, greatly contributing to the overall success of our project. We are eager to discuss the proposal further and explore any creative possibilities together. We appreciate your attention to these matters and look forward to hearing a positive response. So on behalf of the Stick Moose Banner Project, the Eagle Valley Arts Council, myself, Kim, and everybody in the galley, I thank you for hearing us tonight, and I look forward to hearing.
Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Council, do you guys have questions?
I think Kim circulated some big pictures
Yeah.
of the bar banners that were painted this year. I mean, there's just some stunning artists. I think it would be a shame to lose that, and we need to keep that in this.
Councillor Bailey.
Yeah, I guess comment first and I'll follow up with a question. So when I was in grade 10, I was forced to take an art class. And I remember getting my report card and it was written in such a way to say, Ian, the only reason I'm passing you is because I don't think you'll improve by retaking the course. So that's my art ability. But what I do appreciate is really great art and really a lot of passion. You guys have a lot of passion. And I know when we made a decision earlier, we heard it, I heard it. But I guess that leads me to my question. You kind of highlight in a global sense where you think you'd like to have the banners. Can you say like how many and specific locations, or you just kind of want to work through that with us?
In the past, I believe, I'm going to turn to Brenda, but in the past, I believe 30 banners were painted. Now, if we worked collaboratively and wanted more for spring and fall, that would be a different number. This year, I think we had such a great turnout. We turned out a lot more banners. But that's the number that we want to work with the district to say, where would be the greatest spot
Mhm.
to showcase them, where we could see them, you know, and not only just our little community driving down the side streets, but we want to showcase our art to everyone, right? And once you've helped us or come to a decision about where they could be, that's when we would inventory and come up with those numbers. We really like them. I really like them. I don't know about the other folks. I really like them down the section of where the Red Barn actually is.
Right.
That's great because it would lead like to other collaborative efforts with the farmers market and an art walk and some other ideas that are also going on in the background. But I think the beach park is what we think is ultimate. We're not the decision makers. We're just here to say, maybe that's what I was talking about when we were talking about, is the survey required from the district? Do people want to talk about it? Do you want to talk to the community and say, where do you think it would, you know what I mean? Like, these are all things, and once we have a community or a center point of contact, we can certainly, you know, come sit down and come up with a plan.
Thanks, Tammy. Councillor Rich.
Through the chair. Tammy, is there something at the Red Barn now, or is there like a little plaque that explains the banners, or is there a possibility of having a QR code? So like if I like that banner now, I know who the artist is. And do you guys have anything like that for the banners yet?
No.
Or is that something that's possible so I'm new to Sick Moose. I'm walking around, I'm looking at the banners, and then I'm at the Red Barn because that's the art center. And then I look at it and then there's something explaining what's going on.
No.
Do we have that at all?
That is a great idea. We QR codes were just suggested through social media course. I just. So we're working towards that as well. So that along with a great big electronic sign that we have mounted now on the side of the Red Barn. So that will be featuring a lot of information that everybody who walks by the Red Barn will be able to see that as well. So we're slowly crawling into the 21st century.
Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming today in your presentation. There's some really nice looking banners. Well, they're all nice.
Yeah.
I like those. And I think that's great that you recycle them into beach bags. I think the city of Penticton recycles their banners into shopping bags.
Oh, neat.
Oh, nice.
And there's of course competing interests because we have our community branding that we've adopted and is, I think, fairly popular. So I think there's room for our branding and banners.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why the baby one is like.
Maybe council could direct staff to make suggestions of what streets these banners might go on, and then based on what streets they go on, that could quantify how many, and then we can back you that way. I don't know.
Sure, I'm going to defer this to Daryl.
Sure, yeah.
Thanks.
To the chair, we currently have 10 of the painted banners on Riverside right now.
Yes.
And 10 on the southwest section of Main Street. So it's a little bit disjointed, but it's in front of where they are and a little bit onto Main Street. I think what I'm hearing is you guys would like to have 30 every year guaranteed.
Correct.
I think, you know, I could probably sit down with them and come up with a plan, and we'll just mark an area that makes sense. And I could bring that back to council for.
Sure, that sounds good. Do we have any holders at Beach Park? Like, is there?
So I know there was a little bit of disappointment this year. Initially, I'd hoped to get some arms on the rentals at Beach Park. Looking at them, they were gonna get vandalized. We weren't high enough to get arms on there safely. And there's a lot of stuff that's been happening there at night, so. We're sitting on 7 banners that didn't get up this year, so I was hoping to have more up there for them, but they're at 20 and we could look at doing 30.
So Kelly, can we direct staff to sit down, have a conversation and see where?
And we don't need a resolution for that. And I think when it comes to budget time too, to buy some more arms, when we look at our inventory, we can talk, we're having those discussions in November, we can add some a little bit of budget to get some more arms so we can have more banners throughout the community, a combination of both. I think that's great.
Agree. Council, any more questions? Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. Okay, staff reports.
Pass the pictures one in. and-
Oh, yes.
Okay, I thought we were keeping them.
Can I just?
Yes, you can, of course.
You wanted to ask. Oh, okay, sorry. You to them.
Good work, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Sycamus Fire Department grant applications. We have two here. Recommendation that council support an application to the Fire Smart Economic Recovery Fund for a $200,000 grant to fund Fire Smart activities within the district of Sycamus. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bailey. And Brett, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, thank you, through the chair. Just one quick correction, I guess, is the best way to describe it. I could describe it as a Fire Smart Economic Recovery Fund for $200,000. Down a little further, it talks about the purpose, which is the 2024-2025 Fire Smart Community Funding and Support Grant, which is $200,000 each year for 2 years. And then also the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund, which is correct, CEPF for $30,000. And both of these require a resolution from council as part of the application process. Just a bit of a backgrounder, Fire Smart Community Funding and CEPF are provided by the province of BC. It's part of their announcement. That was part of it as well. And then it's administered by BCM. Fire Smart Community Fund provides funding for local governments and First Nations to increase their community resilience and undertaking community so Fire Smart planning and things of that sort. Sycamus Fire Department will be applying for the grant for $200,000 per year for 2 years. And then the fire funding for the CEPF grant is again to enhance the resiliency of local government, first responders, and emergency communities, community emergency response organization. And the Sycamus Fire Department is applying for a $30,000 grant on that particular grant. So just a bit of discussion. We've received funding for the Fire Smart Community Funding program in 2024-2025 includes a full-time Fire Smart coordinator. And we're a good candidate for this funding because we are considered a high-risk community in a rating of 1 through 5, 1 being the highest risk. Sycamus is considered a 1. So that puts us up quite high in the risk area. And then we have our Fire Smart coordinator's position in place. That's a requirement of the funding for 2024-2025. We have a Fire Smart committee in place. We participate in our own local Fire Smart committee, which consists mostly of firefighters, and then we also participate in a regional Fire Smart committee. We also have a community wildfire protection plan in place, and that is due for an upgrade in 2024-2025 as part of our grant application as well. And then the CEPF grant is just basically allows us to purchase what we feel is needed equipment for the fire department. As part of this intake, we're applying for the volunteer and composite fire department training and equipment funding. We intend to purchase structural and wildland firefighting equipment. This year, wildfire season certainly pointed out that we were a bit deficit on wildland personal protective equipment. So shirts, pants, boots, helmets, gloves, they just started adding up very, very quickly. And we found ourselves a bit on the short side of that particular one. Also structural turnout gear. So at least one set, possibly two. The pricing on that has increased dramatically. It's almost double what it used to be. And then also some medium volume fire hose. So for financial implications, fortunately, it is fully funded. There is no cost sharing requirement. And then with the FCS plan, 25% of the is given up front, so basically $50,000 per year. And in our last webinar, we were told that we can apply for both. When we apply for both years funding, we get basically 100,000 upfront, which helps defray a lot of costs for positions and different things like that. One of the new things, and it really feels like this particular grant has been paying attention to what we've been asking, is what they call allocation funding. A big change for us. Well, instead of having to write a 30 or 40-page grant and fill in all the little blanks and try to do all the math on it, which I'm not very great at, they allow us to basically apply, send in a budget, and then it's basically automatically accepted, which is a huge benefit for us. And then the CEPF grant is a fairly standard application, relatively short, so it's quite easy to write. Just the communication implications. One of the big concerns is making sure that we're getting the message across to the community. And from attending the conference, a lot of successes were coming to communities that were really fully engaging their the Fire Smart program with social media. And as far as utilizing that, we plan on working much closer with social media on the Fire Smart side of it. Aligning with strategic priorities, definitely part of the community safety, and part of the strategic priority for Council 2022 to 2026 term. So just some options. What we're hoping, adopting recommended resolutions and presenting it as presented in the report, with the exception of the part of that resolution being not Fire Smart Economic Recovery Fund, but Fire Smart Community Funding and Support. So the second part is supporting just the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund. The third option is adopting just the Fire Smart Community Funding and Support grant, and the fourth one is accepting a just for information. And hopefully you'll choose option one.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, does anyone have, council, do you have any questions or comments? Go ahead, Bianca.
I just want to clarify, are we just doing it for the 200,000 for 2024 or for both years, 200 for each?
Both years, 200.
For the resolution just on the table, so
Unfortunately,
So it's $400,000 over.
200, 2024, 200, 2025.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, unfortunately, when I wrote the thing, it was, I missed that completely. Not sure how I did it. Last year's grant.
any more comments or questions? Okay, we're just gonna vote on the first recommendation. All those, and I think I have a first and a second on that already. So all those in favor? Carried. Okay, the second recommendation, that council support an application for the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund for a $30,000 grant to support training and equipment for the Sicamous Fire Department. Could I get a mover? Thanks, Pam. And seconded, Councillor Rich. Council, have any discussion? Any questions? I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Good job, Brett. Thank you. Okay, change of hours of liquor services, Sicamous Curling Club, 1115 Eagle Pass Way. Recommendation that the District of Sicamous allows the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch to proceed with conducting a formal public input for the proposed change of hours of liquor service for the liquor primarily license held at 1115 Eagle Pass Way, Sicamous Curling Club, by choosing to opt out of the process. Could I get a mover? Councillor Beach, Councillor Bailey. Nicole, do you want to,
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I think we have learned some things on this application, and one of them is when you want to change or modify the already approved liquor service hours, the liquor branch refers the application to local government, and we have a few choices that we have. So right now, the current hours for the curling club are Sunday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. And they would like to change to Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. and Friday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. The curling club has noted that they don't make use of the hours they are currently permitted and have requested this change to the liquor branch. So to permanently amend the hours of liquor service, a community input process applies. And so there's three options that we're looking at today to respond to the referral to the liquor branch. We can accept the application for formal consideration, which means we would opt into the public input process. Or we can not accept the application from the liquor branch to us for formal consideration, which is opting out. Or we can reject the application. And I'll walk through what those three could be. If we opt in, comments and recommendations in the form of a resolution are required. And so this option requires the district to conduct a formal public input process and respond back to the liquor branch within 90 days. If we opt in, we have to comment on the impact of noise on the community in the immediate vicinity, the general impact on the community, and views of residents and the methods used to obtain those views. So how did we get the public input? If we opt out, the liquor branch will complete the public input process and make the decision. It's important to note that if we opt out, we can't comment on the application after that. So pretty much the side. And then, like I said, last, we can reject the application.
Council, any questions? No? Okay, we can call the question. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, 2023-2025 curling rink lease. 115 Eagle Pass Way. Recommendation that mayor and corporate officer be authorized to enter a 2-year lease agreement with the Sycamoose Curling Club for the use of the Sycamoose Curling Rink located at 1115 Eagle Pass Way, and that the lease agreement be approved as presented this 11th day of October 2023. Could I get a mover? Councillor Evans, Councillor Rich, Kelly.
So very briefly, now that the house is all clear. I will summarize the key changes to this lease agreement. Nothing in here will be a surprise. This has been talked about and with council at a couple committees of the whole already. So I will just highlight the key changes. The term of this is for a 2-year term. 7-month period, so a 2-year term, and we have a 2-year option to renew with everything remaining the same other than the rent can be renegotiated at the renewal term. The rent has increased from, I believe it was $6,000 for the term, and it was increased by CPI each year. Now we've negotiated to $8,000. However, we've waived the propane costs. So we've increased the rent a little bit. However, we are now bearing the cost of the propane. And there's another clause in here about landlord covenants that if we're going to use any of the table and chairs in there, that we will replace anything that we damage if we happen to use them for anything. So we were fine with adding that clause. Other than that, it's the same as it was previously.
Okay,
Any questions or concerns?
questions?
Answer.
Councillor McCabe.
It's why 7 months? Why not 6? Because I can't remember the curling club curling after the end of April.
Sure.
Yeah.
March. Yeah, that's a good question. So we did get confirmation. So normally, they're curling still near the end of March, beginning April, and then they clean it up. So they're not really out at the end of March. So we could make it maybe April 15th.
Oh.
If we wanted to, just to give some buffer room for cleaning and getting just the transition period. Yeah.
Councillor McCabe.
And the district Sycamoose isn't to get things cleaned up so you can get pickleball in there earlier or something like that. You don't need use, the community doesn't need use of it earlier.
Pickleball has asked from May to May, and there already is a bit of a time, it just allows that little bit of flexibility in between there. And the curling club's reasonable. If they are done earlier, they'll give us the keys and we'll move on from there.
All right.
Really hold on, but correct?
Yeah, the only thing that's simple stuff is it takes approximately about 2 to 3 weeks to get the ice down and to dry them out, but it's not take long because we can't put them in the cold when they just get old, right?
Right.
So it takes that 2 weeks because we have nothing, we kind of fan them to dry them, right?
Okay.
So we're done pretty much spring break and then the plant goes down and then we start.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, call the question, all in favor? And it's carried. Thank you. Okay, awarding of expression of interest number 1220-20-147 Building Plans Library. The resolution on the agenda has been changed, so I'm going to read the new resolution. That council award expression of interest number 1220-20-148 to both Hassan Projects and McDermott Construction Limited. And further, that the budget increased by $6,000 to be funded by way of the housing reserves. Can I get a mover? Councillor McCabe, Councillor Rich. Nicole, are you taking this one away?
Sure. I don't have a lot prepared because we just heard about the expression of interest at the committee of the whole. But it should be consistent with the presentation from today. I think the understanding is that we want to award the expression of interest to the preferred proponent, housing projects, but also have an increase in the budget to be able to offer the expression of interest awarded to McDermott. And then, of course, engage in further communication with both of them moving forward.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions? Conversation? No? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Are they awake?
The Housing Committee was very happy.
We're happy.
The housing committee was happy.
Congratulations, committee. Okay, so I need to, sorry, that was the first one. So awarding of expression of interest number 1220-20148. Housing and Commercial Development. Recommendation that council award expression of interest number 1220-20-148 Housing and Commercial Development leveraging district owned land to the preferred proponent, that being WCPG Construction Limited. And I'll put this together. And further, that staff be directed to start discussions with WCPG Construction Limited related to key details that would form part of a final agreement. Could I get a mover? Councillor Evans, Councillor Beach. Council, do you have anything, any discussion? Kelly, do you want to touch on this?
Yep, I'll keep it brief because everybody is fully aware, but this is a very exciting project for the district of Sycamoose.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's been a while and we're inching closer and closer each day. And so this is a big step and I think it's going to be amazing for our community. So we put out an expression of interest June 26th to see if there was any interested proponents in a mixed use building, a mixed use rental building on our Main Street properties known as 417-425 Main Street, 1.5 acres of that land that closed August 21st. We received 4 proposals, of which we formed a committee to review those proposals, looking at multiple factors, the skills of the developer, their operational skills, their ability to deliver on the project site plan, their track record. There a bunch of things were looked at. We narrowed it down to 2 proposals, which then were presented to council. We did some reference check and we were delighted to award it to WCPG Construction. And this is just start opening the door for discussion. So we are not committed to anything at this point, legally or financially. This is saying, hey, we think you're the best proponent. We think you have the skills to deliver what our community needs. Now this will start the discussion of exactly what will consist over there in terms of commercial, residential, anything else in, and then anything that we're going to give them and what we want from them as well. So I will be in touch frequently with council as we start stick handling that process to make sure I'm capturing all the needs of everybody. And then this will need to be definitely legally vetted once we come to some kind of agreement, public notification, potentially even some public consultation will still be required. But this is just the starting point to get that process going.
Thank you. Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, we spoke earlier today on one of the components of this might be for housing for our out of town healthcare professionals. So as long as council is okay with that, maybe we give staff direction that as you enter into negotiations, one thing that we would like for giving them the land is 1 or 2 units for
exclusive use.
housing for whatever we choose, whoever we choose to put in here.
Counselor's quarters.
Counselor's quarters. Counselor Bailey.
Yeah, so this was something this is the first time it's become public, right? That we're proposing this group. I feel strongly that whatever we do there, we need to have a public consultation around. And I think a fairly robust public consultation around about what we are doing, because this does involve land transfer. This involves taking public assets and turning it into a potential development, right? And then there's costs that come with that as well. So, I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot and just about what this means for our community, the cost of it in terms of what the rental rates will be, because we're doing a purpose-built rental. That's the proposal. And ultimately, how much money that will cost us for what we're getting. And I think that needs to be a conversation we bring the community in on. Because this is a piece of land that we'll never be able to get back. We've given part of it to the seniors development side of stuff, which is a totally different project than what we're talking about here. And I think that's where the discussion has to get out in the community, because we're talking about giving this to essentially a private developer that will build under certain terms rental housing at a X or Y per month rental rate. I don't know if the community knows that's what we're talking about. I think there is probably a different perspective of what that site would have been at one point, because I think it was communicated as a different project. Originally, that's what it was envisioned to be with Habitat for Humanity. And I think that lends a certain connotation to it that I don't think is necessarily out there. We got briefed in what we're talking about here. So as I learn more, I have more questions. I think as the community learns more, they're going to have more questions. And I think the more that we can get that out there in a public consultation sort of way, whether we do an open house on it or whatever, whether we have it on the council agenda and widely publicize it, I think that's going to be important, because there has to be an education piece about this and what this project would actually be. Because I certainly want community buy-in on this project. It's a pretty significant thing that'll go on our Main Street.
Councillor McCabe.
Yeah, Kelvin just mentioned that we're gonna do all that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, no, I get that. Well, no.
It's just, we're just selecting the lead proponent, and we're just giving staff permission to start negotiations. We're not voting on awarding a contract or anything like that. We're just voting on giving staff permission to enter negotiations as lead proponent, which is early days, because like you say, and I agree with everything you said, public consultation for sure, but we have to have something to bring to the public.
Yeah, maybe I'll just say, what I was trying to explain is part of this process. I'm absolutely for awarding the COI. So I just wanted to highlight that I think there's a little bit more work to do in terms of public knowledge around this, because I do think it's changed from where it originally started out and where we're going with the COI. I just wanted to.
For sure. And Kelly, perhaps that we could send out some communication on the site as well and just, let people know. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and to your point as well, Councillor Bailey, so we put this out to profit and not for profit.
Yes. Oh, I know.
We're open to whoever was interested in a proposal, and the reality is for profit oriented companies responded to this RFP, and I completely agree. Once we, because they still have to pencil out what actually will work for them, because they have to borrow the money to do it. So once we can get something that actually makes sense, I agree. Part of their deal is they're gonna have to host some public consultation as well and answer some questions. And I think that is extremely important. We do want the community buy-in. This is a very amazing location, and we need to make sure that everybody's on the same page. We're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. I think this is very, very important, and public engagement and a special engagement session about this project is very much warranted and will occur.
Another very exciting project for Sycamores to be. Go ahead, Councillor McCabe.
And you have some talks coming up in the near future with the province and how they might be interested in being part of that through new pilot or the new program unfolding BC Build.
Yeah.
With least
Monday.
to help.
Yeah.
So that's exciting too, to
Mhm.
see how they might be interested in
Yes.
that also.
And there is some federal government stuff coming down too for developers that they are, looking at GST and things like that. And so, yeah, they're trying to ignite building. So that's exciting.
And like Councilor Rich said earlier, we're leading the way on this as far as other communities. That's why the government is coming to us and, outside of those meetings, because we're shovel ready. Environmental's done, archaeological's done, geotechnical's done. Yeah, they love.
They need some wins as well, and we
Win.
can look like one of their wins. So we'll take it.
And Bianca and I did the math. So on all those parcels of land, even the land for Eagle Valley that we're giving, so the whole 2.5 acres, all the costs we have spent to date is just over 1.1 million. And that includes demolition, geo, arc, everything. So that's how much our community has invested in land for housing purposes, right? That's a fair amount for a small community.
Mhm.
So.
Councillor Evans.
Thank you through the chair. And, I agree with everything that's been said by everybody, but I do want to say that, up to this point, we have done our homework. And we have done consultation and we'll continue to do it. And I'm really excited about this. And yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, let's call the question. All those in favor? And we're carried. Good, thank you. Committee reports and resolutions. Finance Committee meeting. Recommendation that council establish a select finance committee for the purpose of 2024 budget deliberations, and all council members appointed to the committee and appointed as chair. And that the Finance Committee be scheduled to meet at 9 a.m. in council chambers on November 8th, November 22nd, November 13th, 2023, January 24th, 2024, and February 28th, 2024. Could I get a mover? Councillor Evans, Councillor Rich, and I would like to recommend that Councillor Evans chairs the Finance Committee meeting.
Okay. Sorry, when it's comment time, I will comment.
And we're open. Councillor Evans.
I would be happy to chair it, but Monday and Wednesday mornings won't work for me, as I have an 8 a.m. staff meeting in Salmon Arm. And the earliest I could get back would be 10 a.m. So if you want it at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, I can make that. If you want it on Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday mornings at 9, I can do that. So
Is anyone?
not all about me.
Anyone tied to the times? Does anyone have any other issues with the times?
I kind of like to do it all in one day, community, the whole in camera, capital, finance.
Then I can do 10 a.m.
No, I don't like, no.
The life out of me.
I agree. I agree.
Hey, that's negative
That's
feedback.
a negative. Big old negative on that.
Rather just rip the Band-Aid off.
To 10 o'clock.
Ooh, me? Oh,
How do you guys feel about bumping it to 10 o'clock to accommodate Bob's schedule?
I can be back by 10.
On a Wednesday.
It's still on Wednesdays on a council meeting day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still on Wednesdays. I didn't double check those dates. So
Yeah.
those are all council days.
I'm for that.
I can do 10 AM, or another day,
Holy.
so.
So what day,
Hold it a second. Counselor Rich?
Can I just, through the chair, if I'd prefer if we were gonna do it on council days, that we just run it all together with little breaks. It's really hard to do like at 9 AM and then go home for 2 hours and then
Yeah.
try to, so if we're gonna do it, let's just crumb it all in and you bring us coffee a lot.
Well,
well, can,
So if we start at 10 o'clock, that would pretty much take us.
that would do.
That would.
I was just hoping if we could start on November 22nd, then it's gonna make it, because I'm gonna be away. Like, does our final meeting have to be February 28th? Or could it be like March 7th?
Well, it
Runs late.
all relies, like, cause then we have to like finalize the budget and then you have to do 2 weeks, like. There's a reason why we have kind of the dates. We can push it back.
We
a
can
week.
push it back a week.
Yeah, and then we'll just do a present, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I can do November 22nd remotely, and then the rest I can actually be here in person.
And I mean, I personally, I'm biased. I feel the finance committee meetings are really important because they kind of set the direction of what we're spending
Yeah.
next year from an action item point of view. So I like as much participation as possible.
Okay, well, let's
Okay.
do 10 o'clock then, and push back the last one to accommodate Councillor Bailey
Push it back.
Thank
So
you.
our first meeting will be on November 22nd.
at 10 AM.
Take out the 8th, we'll do them all at 10 AM.
And then we'll have a final one.
March the 3rd. What was it? Yeah, March, February, March.
Six.
The 6th is the first Wednesday.
Well, so you've got, hold on, here.
Our council meetings.
So we have the 28th, it's the second, because we have the planning and development committee meeting on the March 6th. So it'd be the 13th,
Okay,
March 13th.
March 13th. Okay, all right. So do I have to make amendments to this resolution? Kelly?
Sorry, I'm just discussing, and while we're sitting here and there's not a ton of people here discussing the dates, normally there's 3 before Christmas and then 2 afterwards.
It's usually 5.
To deal with. Right, we normally do like 3 before and then like 1 or 2 afterwards summarizing. And so right now, if we're shifting this, we only have 2 before Christmas. So it would actually be better if we could squish another one in before Christmas and then end it February 28th. See what I'm saying?
Yep. Okay,
So if we just create one, I know, and I'm making it complicated, but it's just. Because then we gather all the information before Christmas and then we're able to do a bunch of stuff. We gather the final numbers and then we pull it all together. You know what I mean? So it's nice when we're getting a flow going on the finance and we're doing them. So if we did November 22nd as our first, let's see here.
Councillor Evans?
I would just like to say it's not a big deal if you can't make November 8th, Councillor Bailey, because the first year I was in council, I could only make half the meetings because of the times that they were at the time. So I think we can get going according to this schedule and not have to find another date and just,
Well,
it won't be for the first one. It's okay.
it's that, yeah, I'm back the 29th. So if I just do one meeting in, because I did this last year and it's quite a lot to follow online. So if I had one that, the beginning to do it and then, we had the other ones in person, I think it would be easier for me, but if that doesn't work for council.
Well, we could do a first one on the 22nd, you're back on the 29th.
Yeah.
We can do then one on the Thursday, the 7th.
Well,
December, and then another one on December 13th. I know it's just because there's the planning and development committee there. I'm just trying to, accommodate everybody's schedule, recognizing it is important, and it's nice if we do them kind of together.
Yeah. November the 22nd, December the 7th, December the 13th, January the 24th, and February the 28th, all at 10 a.m.
Correct.
Is everyone good with those?
We'll send you email reminders and calendar invites.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say, can we just make a
That's
friendly
fine.
amendment?
We get the intent of it.
Yeah, we got it.
We got the
Okay,
intent.
favor, carried.
Wait,
This one, Sam, always in conflict, it seems like with the Shuswap Watershed Council.
It's always on a Wednesday. Yeah, and so is my,
People like meetings.
people like meetings. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, okay, we're moving on to correspondence. So does oh, no, sorry, CSRD letter of support request, UBCM disaster risk reduction grant.
I can briefly speak to this. So they just sent us a request. They're reaching out to ask for a letter of support for a disaster risk reduction grant to identify and prioritize risks in Steep Creek geohazard areas throughout the regional district. So it will relate to areas that do affect the district of Sycamore. So I think it would be something
Yeah.
to support this grant.
Correct, and they're trying to do a geotech study on the whole North Shore at once as opposed to piece by piece, so everybody's property is safe. So, is everybody in favor of support? Yeah.
I make a motion that we support CSRD, give them a support letter for.
Okay. Pam, you want to second that? All in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, correspondence for information. Does anyone want to speak to anything in correspondence?
I think I already have, and that was the Suzanne Carpenter letter. So I think I've already.
Daryl, you're okay with 4-HBC changing the colors in the circle?
Yeah, we can schedule that.
Perfect. Other than that, I think, Councillor Rich.
Yeah, so through the chair, 4-HBC, I would like to support that. We do have a couple 4-H clubs in Sycamore and CSRD surrounding areas, so that would be great if we could do that. And I would also again like to say a thank you from the high school for basketball jerseys, but we now have a grade 7 team, a junior team, and a senior team, both boys and girls. We have 6 teams this year. Last year, we only had 2. So,
Hey,
yeah, just huge. So please keep supporting, and they do play in town. So if anybody wants to come sit out in the bleachers, if anybody's listening out there in the world, come and support Sycamore, where our kids are doing great.
yeah, perfect. I went to a volleyball game last year.
Good.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, anyone else have anything they want to speak to? Councillor McCabe.
Are you gonna respond on our behalf from Susan Carpenter?
Do we need to respond? I don't think we need to respond.
I think even just thank you for your comments. We'll take it under advisement. I think it's professional to just acknowledge receipt if nothing else.
We'll acknowledge receipt.
Right, Ed? All right, and that's it. Okay, so now we're gonna open the floor for 15 minutes for anyone in the gallery. Bob, who are you pointing at?
Deb.
Hello.
Hi, Deb,
Can you
how
hear
are you there?
Good, good. I got a couple things I wanted to cover, but I promise I'll be really quick. So first off, I mentioned this to Daryl, but I'll just, in case you guys weren't aware, big shout out to John Braun and Shane. They took down a stand of trees beside the pickleball courts that the roots were starting to ruin the new pickleball courts.
and they've taken them down and they're in the process of poisoning them so that the roots don't ruin our brand new nice pickleball courts. So it was a huge job, you guys. Those were big ass trees. So I was just going to comment. It was great to hear from the Banner Project ladies today. They've always been great partners of Communities in Bloom over the years. So, I really support them. One last thing, I did my final accounting for the Fungi Fest and I feel like we now I've reached my target of a bank balance where I feel like we've got a sustainable festival for the future.
Excellent. Congratulations. Perfect.
And that's it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Do we have anyone else? Going once, going twice. All right, we're going to adjourn this meeting at 6:14. We'll adjourn the regular council meeting for October 11th, 2023. Bob? Malcolm? All in favor? We're done.
Oh, I thought this one was gonna be a 7.